So just a conceptual model, right? What you can see here is, a centrifugal pump, with sensor attached, multiple sensor attached, where we could actually collect information through the IoT data acquisition, right? And then we could actually store it and process it, and very important is to visualize, what's going to happen, and then able to compare, the model, and able to make some predictions, about the situation, with the centrifugal pump, so that we could actually make some decisions, how to actually avoid, the failure. So this is how it works. You collect the data. You immediately you want to see, what is going to be happening, right, to the equipment, and you're able to see, some of the attributes, and then snapshot, what is the probability that it's going to fail. And the last thing is, you're going to address it, all right, remotely. So for example, assuming that you are going to do, your business is going to do servicing with a company, plant, a large plant, for example, Tuas power plant, they have a lot of equipments, and you're actually monitoring that remotely for those pumps and motors, and we could actually, based on the information collected, we're able to predict, when it's going to have a potential failure, right? And then potentially we can address, some of the problems as well remotely, without even actually sending technician on site to do the preventive maintenance. So I'm able to actually get my colleague, provide me, this demo, and I would like you to appreciate, this.
What we are looking at is a centrifugal pump.
Just give me a minute, and I'm going to show you this wonderful demo. Okay, I'm going to start.
What we are looking at is a centrifugal pump. This is a simulator about a centrifugal pump. This pump is streaming. In real time, you would have this pump streaming at the customer site, sending sensor data into the IoT cloud service. Let's simulate an event of a low severity from this particular pump. As you would have noticed in the pump, the bearings have become slightly red, indicating there is an issue in the pump. If I move over into Lisa's dashboard, what you will see is in her dashboard that the probability of failure for this pump is going to increase from 0% to somewhere around the 40-50% range. And you will see that the asset condition has gone from green to amber, indicating that there is an issue with this particular pump. Lisa can then choose to either dispatch a technician, which is what would be in the normal case scenario. But in this case, what we are going to try and do is we are going to try and resolve the incident using Oracle Policy Automation in real time without actually dispatching a technician. So let's look at that particular incident that was just created around erratic motor frequency. I can go in and invoke Oracle's Policy Automation product to do an auto resolve of the particular asset. When I click on auto resolve, the diagnostics check is telling me that it has discovered that there is an issue with the software version of the motor. I can accept the auto resolve recommendation and proceed to resolve the particular issue. What this is going to do, it's going to stop the motor, bring the motor offline, and go in, upgrade the software version, and then bring it back up online. So as you can see, the motor has been stopped. In a few seconds, the software version will be upgraded, and then the motor will come back online again. What we will notice is the probability of failure dropping down from the 20-30% range down to an acceptable range of 6%. Now, let me talk about the analytics and the probability of failure. That has been done using the Oracle's Big Data Cloud product suite, where we have analyzed the raw data from hundreds of pumps over a period of time and have arrived at the computational model that helps us determine if the pump is about to fail. While we were speaking, you can see that the probability of pump failure has gone down into the 6% range. And at the time of incident, it was close to a 55% range. Lisa has effectively saved money for the organization by avoiding a technician to be dispatched at the client side, and the asset health is back to normal. That is the power of Oracle Product Suite. So, as you have seen in the Digital Field Services solution, This helps providers maximize their revenue from their existing customer base by increasing the customer satisfaction and retention. By leveraging real-time predictive analytics for preventive maintenance to improve asset uptime, it also helps service providers to increase their margins by maximizing the operational efficiencies through remote monitoring and maintenance of the install base. Thank you for your time. What we are looking.
Okay, let me get back to the slide. Right, so that basically a short demo by my colleague and on the asset that we are tracking and maintain remotely. And this is what you see here is what is available today within the Oracle solution, and we have customers actually successfully implemented similar solution as a service to their customer. So what you see here is Oracle actually has basically a future-ready digital supply chain application platform, where you could actually connect with your sources of information, from your SCADA, OPC, any industry gateway, etc. Where you can actually form your digital twins, and able to actually look at the trends and anomaly detections, and then you could actually monitor, right, the state, they are in today using production monitoring, fleet monitoring, asset monitoring, and then you can actually do, the diagnostics and recommendation. All right, so this the so-called the part that we can actually enable using our cloud application. All right, so this is already something is ready, and then on the design evaluate, those data, apart from able to do the prediction, right, you're able to project that into the business, especially in the demand planning, demand and supply planning, where you use those information to understand, whether you should actually bump up your demand or actually change your demand, mix, and the supply mix as well, potential supply risk, And then finally is to execute that into the sourcing, right? For example, the items that comes in, raw materials actually has some faulty, that will impact the runs of the production. So the sourcing, has to be actually changed. Manufacturing, has to look at it, how to actually improve the quality, right? So all this basically the execution part of the business, So you just imagine from the data, from a SCADA, industrial gateways, this is information is all the way propagated into the application. So what it means is, this something that design for the outcome, for the business. So talking about collaborative robots, we have a case study, for a collaborative robot with a customer that manufacture plastics, all right, in the production line and use collaborative robots to actually enable the environment. So they basically use our technology and develop digital twins, for all these robots, all right? And they collect real-time data and try to understand the behaviors of each of the robots. If some of the robots that actually have some potential problems, then of course, we have to take into consideration, we need to do preventive maintenance, right? So all this digital twin, again, as I mentioned, that, you will, at the end of the day, you'll connect back, into the AI, right? AI platform, where you're able to predict, what sort of chances of failure, right, within the 24 hours, all right? So for example, if there's overheat, right, based on the other the similar models they have actually developed, they could actually predict, what sort of chance of failure. And this information, when it pump into the supply chain plan, all right, that impact, need to be actually propagated. All right, that's how it works. So I've just tried to actually give you, a snapshot, of a supply chain planning systems. So what you can see here, this is a live supply chain planning systems, where you have metrics, all these are real-time metrics that run at real time or based on the updates, from systems. So what you can see here is all these are visual, right? Visual. The darker the visual means that, the more problems, the bigger the problem, right? So from the monetary perspective, from the volume perspective, we give you a darker picture. So here we see that, this is actually different segments, right? And then the exceptions, right? The amount of exceptions that comes up. So this is how we actually evaluate, a supply chain environment. So the digital twin, not just at the equipment, will bring this digital twin concept into a supply chain, all right, where we can understand the demand and supply, covering the demand, not just the demand supply, but we're also looking at the procurement and the manufacturing as well. So leveraging the AI as an AI advisor, all right, they able to actually do a prediction, all right, what's happening, all right. So you can see here there is a prediction of 60.733% chance of failure in the next 24 hours. So what it means is, by we try to actually meet up the production requirements, so the first thing is, we have to take into consideration that is this particular resource called robot. Two, that will be down within 24 hours, all right? So here there's a recommendation. We need to actually modify the resource availability or build in, all right, this availability back into the supply chain availability. So here, this is a snapshot of a supply chain, any typical supply chain spreadsheet, right? It looks like a spreadsheet, but it's the online system. So what you can see here is this is a resources, all right? And this is a resource availability, net resource availability and requirements and etc. So there are requirements, for each robot number 2, right? But the availability will be affected, right? So what happened is, typical what people normally do is, they will basically chat with the production engineer and check, is it true that, you really need, to be down for some time, before you go up, how long it takes, So the feedback is 3 days, all right, 3 days downtime. So what they have done is, they update it, all right, the availability of these resources over 3 days period. And then when you actually run the update, right, the availability will be switched into a next robot. So that line, the robot 2 line will be down, right? And robot number 3 will be utilized, right, to maximize the production throughput. So that's how it works, right? So Noble Plastic is just an example, a company, a very small company, is about a $24 million company when we work with them, based out of US. They make plastics, plastic cups, plastics pallets, etc. So, but they use robot. One thing is they use robot in the operation. All production lines are actually handled, by the robots in and out. And practically they can switch off the light, and run 24 hours, without human. So that basically they are doing, this project with us. We able to streamline the process. Able to actually create digital twins, right, and avoid downtime, right, in the shop floor by making sure that digital twins are projected into the supply chain. All right, so that's how it works. So very small company, all right, but we're able to do, all right, very complex thing using our cloud application, which can be implemented within like 5 to 6 months. So that's how it works, from the connection between digital twin and supply chain, and that we actually have, in summary, we have all these basically intelligent assets, that are available for customers to actually subscribe. All right, you don't have to buy it; you have to subscribe it. A minimum of 10 users. You can actually already start to subscribe some of this application and deploy. If you're an SME, all right, small, medium size, all right, you can actually take advantage of this future-ready business application, for your factory, where you can actually create digital twin and you can actually manage, your assets, in an optimal manner. So we, as Oracle, from Oracle, we actually deliver Oracle's supply chain cloud, with consideration, for innovation, for helping customer accelerating innovation and improve quality from idea to commercialization. We help company to actually execute, right, design and execute revenue growth and cost reduction. So other things, are optimize, supply risk, transportation, and preventing equipment failure. So what you can see here is a Gartner, chart, of Oracle. Or Oracle constantly, is a leader. All right, it's the only leader actually in the cloud ERP. All right, it's the only leader right now. Not SAP. All right, not Microsoft. And in terms of warehouse, we are also in the leadership. And then in the transportation and the logistic management is always, part apart. All right. So a lot of companies in Singapore actually using our transportation systems, and manufacturing systems. We are also, the leader. So all is available at a subscription, and it's a ready solution, easy to deploy, and do not have to be painful about infrastructure. So this is some of the partial customer list that we have, right? So you can see some of the customers that we have. That's include Huawei as well. And then in Singapore, we have a company called Bionics. I'm sure you're familiar. They basically also use our cloud SaaS for supply chain, and the whole company actually running that right now, include the campus in Malaysia and China. So that's how we have. And then in the industrial sector, some of the names like the ABB, Mitsubishi, Hitachi, etc. So some of the big names. So I finally, I want you to actually download, this IDC report, based on what I have written on the application, the supply chain application that we have developed on the cloud. Look at it, what they say about Oracle, and how our customers actually think about, our Oracle supply chain application. Download this white paper, all right? Read it, any question, and come back to me, all right? This is my contact. That's all I have. I pass it back to Chris Scala.
Hey, thank you, Clarence. Wonderful presentation. I mean, the topics is discussed. One of the things which I noticed is the statement by the slides on Western Digital, so delivering digital at speed. Not many businesses these days can say they can have a snapshot of what's going on in their business every 30 minutes.
Yeah, globally, yeah.
Globally, yeah.
Exactly. Nobody can do that, So this is the I mean, so far we have, of course we have many customers, but Western Digital at that size, their revenue size globally is like close to about $30 billion. Right, so they able to do it, that size, robustness, accuracy. I think nobody able to do it right now.
Okay, great. So now for audiences, if you have any questions, please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A, and then we'll just.
Yeah. Any question? I will take it.
Tomoku has put up his hand. You kindly post your questions in the Q&A.
Yeah. Feel free to actually drop me an email if there is any question or any follow-up. I promise Chris, I definitely were able to reply, right? Any specific question, any follow-up, even, willing to spend time to explain some of the detail, how this can be implemented in your organization.
Maybe I just fire on quick questions. What are the major pain points company have when they wish to implement something like that?
Yeah, the biggest pain point is, they have very, I would say, outdated legacy systems that they are not able to integrate, right? Not able to, the data are not able to, they are not able to utilize data, from outside world. So because of that, they are not able to get, the right context, about what's going to happen. And particularly in the digital twin environment, where you have data, coming from assets, your productions, these information actually mean nothing. All right, they are just 1010. But we have to provide that context. So what we have done is, we create, a contextualization environment between the operation data and IT data. All right. So what it means is your 1010, your temperature, your vibration, whatever, that attributes that you're collecting, you are able to context it, with the business. For example, the work order number, all right? You're able to context with the product, all right? You're able to context it, with the operator, all right? So all this, potentially may have some influence, to the final outcome. So the biggest challenge today is a lot of companies have
Esok baru
outdated
transfer.
systems. Outdated
Ya, saya
systems
ambil
and
gambar
able
dulu
to
lah. Saya
do it.
panggil Sam, panggil tu pakcik.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's good. Okay, if anyone has any questions, please post in the Q&A.
Hello, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, you have shown some very impressive.
Yes.
Sorry, we lost you.
Yeah, I waiting to.
Yeah, we
Hello.
lost him.
Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So, thanks for the very impressive examples. Particularly, like you created digital twins.
The other, while our friend is coming back, I think the other challenge is a lot of companies, facing complexity, right? When dealing the digital twins or any big data or AI projects, is there's lots of complexity, right, in deploying. So it's difficult. You need a lot of expertise, you need a lot of resources to do that. So we basically recognize that. And that's why we're delivering intelligent application, so that people actually use application instead of building application for that purpose. So, Chris, is he coming back?
No idea. Yeah.
No.
Let me just type a quick question in the box.
Yeah. Okay. While he's coming back, I'll try to play one video, right? For just for. I just want to play one last video before we go off.
But sometimes they don't, and then it's how well we can respond.
Now this is
that
Noble
often
Plastics that I mentioned. It's a $23 million company.
End up at the end of the day.
About,
At Noble Plastics, we
I think
use the
the
Oracle
total resources
IoT
like 30
Asset
people.
Monitoring Cloud and the Oracle Mobile Cloud Service. Noble Plastics is a product realization company. If you go to Vegas and get a margarita, chances are the paddles in that machine were made at Noble Plastics. We make the cone of shame, and we make smart munitions for our military. We run a lot of our processes lights out. We're measuring rejects in parts per million. These cloud products are made to be customized, and so I see them as a very good companion to our robotics. If there's an equipment failure or drift in some calibration, then you need to be able to pick that up. That gives us insight to work on those systems before there's a real issue. Our hopes are that this system is going to allow us to not only know there's an issue, but have an idea of what that issue is and make some more intelligent decisions. Instead of being reactive, we can become more adaptive, where we're then taking that information, whether it's through machine learning or some other algorithm, and then we use that to provide feedback back into our process. That kind of scenario is what truly makes our life easier and allows us to better serve our customer and be more competitive.
Okay, so that's basically a short clip, about Noble Plastics. As I mentioned, the company is very small. They only have staff like 20 over people when we work on the project, and they have no capabilities of deploying such technologies, without using, our cloud solution. So our cloud application allows them to actually adopt such complexity without even very, they only have like 1 or 2 IT staff, that working on a project. The rest of the implementations are actually managed, by the business leader. All right, so they kind of are very different. We help people to adopt, quickly, without worry about complexity in building up the solution. So no data scientists, all right? There is no data scientist involved in the project. The project actually utilize, almost 100% of the intelligent application that we deliver over the cloud to them.
So Clarence, from your experience, how important is this to get companies, small, medium-sized companies like Noble Plastics that you mentioned? How important is this to get the management involved, to get the leadership of the company involved when they are embarking on that project?
I think it is important to, first of all, you have to actually selling, a potential business outcome to the senior management about the viability of this such project. Noble Plastic, they know very well if it is a human intensive, for such a low cost product, they're not going to survive. All right, so they have to go on automation, and they have to actually leverage, on the business application like Oracle SaaS Cloud, where they can automate and execute, according to the plan. And they're running 24 hours. That's how they should do. All right, optimize the equipment and the capital investment. So then, of course, the next important thing is, don't forget about, try to develop from scratch. It is not possible. I have not seen any business, successfully introduce, AI into the business. Partly is because of the scalability, robustness, when to do with the business application, whether you're running SAP or Oracle, there will be a robustness issue, there will be scalability issue because of the integration. So how to actually deliver that AI into the application is always a problem. So we go one step further, embed, some of these AI, proven AI areas in the application to reduce the complexity and allow customers to actually reap the benefits, from the implementation of the business area.
Yeah, that's good insight. That's something where I think every organization thinking of embarking on a digital transformation journey has to involve, and then robustness over long term, and then integration with the rest of the systems. Okay, just one final call for questions before we end today's session. If anyone has questions, please let us know. Okay, final call.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So thank you, Clarence. Thank you for spending your time with the audience here and sharing around your experience about the twin implementation for both supply chain and support.
Okay. Thank you.
Just take over the screen.